Oh, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Good morning, good evening, good day, good night, good whatever time it is, wherever you are. Welcome back. Welcome back to how did I say broken souls? Welcome back to Humanitarian Chronicles. This is Dr. David Wasambela, the Dreadlock Doc or the Dreadlock Doctor. Karibu sana. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to see you again. Thank you for joining me for another session, for another therapy session where you are the therapist and I am the what? Therapist. Yes, I am the the client who has come to tell you about my struggles, my issues, the things that I go through, the things that I struggle with. I said struggles already, yeah? Yeah, so the masks that I have to wear and when I take them off, how ugly it looks for me even when I take my own mask off and I stop pretending to be very strong. That's not just me, that's how we are as humanitarians. So you caught me. I was looking for a topic for today, and I think today we'll talk about Cheka Mtoi Aishi. Let me see. Cheka Mtoi Aishi is on. Starts from on chapter 11 from page 137. Chapter 11, Cheka Mtoi Aishi, founding it, 2 years of joblessness, life after it. Okay, I think I'll just go by what it says in here. Do you know this book? Have you seen this book? You haven't seen this book? Should I show you this book? Can I tell you about this book? Should I show you? You know where I am from now. Should I show you? That's me. That's me. That's a good photo, right? Yeah, that's a good photo. Aye, let's be honest. It's a good one. It's a good one. Yeah. Broken Souls Chronicles of a Humanitarian Health Worker is my second book that I published sometime last year, 2025. Mid 2025, it was released. My first book was called The Power of Passion, which was basically a story about how I was using my talent as a comedian and an actor, combining it with my knowledge and skills as a medical doctor to create awareness with acting, with comedy, create awareness on hypothermia in newborns, in neonates, basically children, prevention of hypothermia and pneumonia in newborns especially, and whatever proceeds would get from that, from the events or from my savings mostly, would go to buying room or space heaters and donating them to hospitals around Kenya, hospitals around Kenya. So I did that for about 3 years, 2010, 2011 to 2014. Then basically closed that down when I went for Ebola response, because then, there are some things that you can't run from a distance. You can't do from a distance. I was basically the vision of it. I had the vision. I knew what I needed to do, and I'm very grateful to the friends and colleagues, former friends and former colleagues. They are former because we no longer talk. We never had a fight. We never had a disagreement. But I think our paths just were different at some point. So we met for a season, for a reason, and then we parted ways. And yeah, we no longer communicate right now. I have tried communicating. I have tried. I have tried. I have called. I've tried many times, and they now began pushing me to their managers. Now they have managers. So you call someone, hey, I'm so and so's manager. How can I help you? I'm like, but Nani, I know your name. I know your voice. You're so and so. Yeah. I'm so and so, but I'm now so and so's manager. The other so and so was also a close friend, apparently. And yeah, so I'm so and so's manager, and how can I assist you? I'm like, yeah, please ask so and so to call me back whenever I can. It's been now what over 12 years since so and so called me back, and so, who is the manager of so and so, who is those who also used to be a friend and a colleague, never called me back, and that was it. Another so and so was like, yeah, I'm coming to your house right now. I'm on the way. Literally, I'm on the way. He lived 5 minutes away from where I lived. That was when my son was born. my third born, my son Joe was born, and Joe is now 9 years. So this guy called me. He's like, "Yeah, I'm on my way. I'm coming to see your son. Yeah, let's come and celebrate together. I'll be right there in 5 minutes." It's now 9 years. He's still on the way. He's still on the way to the house. Recently, I chatted him up just before I did the book, because I had named some of them. I'd named most of them in the book here. In terms of like this book, like, kind of journals my journey from I would say mid childhood, from around primary school into my adulthood to now, where I got to do humanitarian work, international humanitarian work. So I was just seeking anybody that was mentioning the book. I would seek their permission, I'd seek their consent to mention them in my book, or ask them if they want me to mention them, but with a pseudonym, or completely not mention their names, so, or not mention them at all and the stories. So I was seeking them out, and I'm like, hey guys, you guys have been a huge part of my story, a huge part of my life, a huge part of my journey. I would like to mention you. Is it okay as I do the story? So I chatted him up, and The typical gaslighting that celebrities will do to you when you're not a celebrity, or no longer a celebrity, or you're not one of them, you're not part of the clique. The typical thing, hey man, how have you been? How have you? Why are you so lost? I'm like, bro, I'm not lost. Remember, you were on the way to my house 9 years ago to see my son. My son is now 9 years. You're 5 minutes away. He's still 5 minutes. He's now 9 years away. And that was the last time we communicated. It's always a typical way of doing things where they gaslight you. You apologize because they are celebrities. You are not. I think sometimes we forget that celebrities are made by the fans. The reason that they're so famous is because the fans like them, or the fans watch them, the fans see them, the fans know them. If there's no one to watch you, you can't be a celebrity unless you're a celebrity to yourself. You watch yourself and you're like, yeah, I'm the one. And then you look at yourself and, yeah, I have a fan. No, but I have a fan, by the way. I have a fan. I have at least one fan in my life. Let me show you. Let me show you my fan. See that over there? That's my fan. Ignore the room. I'm in a room that is also used as storage because there are a lot of movements happening, a lot of relocation happening with some family members. So the room is also packed with suitcases that belong to other people. So yeah, ignore the suitcases. You saw my fan. You saw my fan. I have at least one fan. So if nobody remembers me, that fan knows me. I don't know if it remembers me, but it looks at me, just stands and just stares at me. It's like, yo, I'm your fan, I'm a papa. That one. So anyway, so this book, for those who don't know, this book talks about the plight of humanitarians, highlights the plight of humanitarians, what we struggle with, our cries, our masks that we put on when we're in the field, when we take them off, what happens under the masks, our suffering, the traumas that we go through, and sometimes the triggers that wake up those traumas that sometimes we put in the back of our minds. I've talked about this in another video where there were things I had been struggling with, I thought I had put away, I dealt with. It turned out that 20 years later, they were still buried deep in my mind. I have the gift of compartmentalization. I can compartmentalize things, but the problem is sometimes they stay in that compartment and I forget about them, but they're just there. And then they just wait for something to open the lid and they burst out. Maybe that's why I was crying those 2 times I cried. Someone laughed at me. Yo, somebody, see. I met a friend of mine the other day, and we were just discussing, life struggles and stuff like that. And apparently, this friend had watched one of the two or both the podcasts where I was crying, and hey, the laughter. Wait, it was disrespectful. Thank you for buying the book, by the way. Thank you for buying a copy of my book from the bookworm Gigiri Courtyard, but you laughed at me badly. That laughter was not respectful. That laughter, it wasn't supportive. It was a very unsupportive laughter. I know I laughed at you at other things, but that one specifically, how I cried. No. You don't laugh at somebody like that. You laugh in a different way. You laugh in a demure kind of way, in a mindful way. You just laughed, like it was embarrassing. It was what? It was embarrassing. How does someone just start crying? How does humanitarians don't cry? Especially men, humanitarians, male, we cry for who? We don't even have eyes. Anyway, so this, as I said, highlights the plight of humanitarians, talk about what it is that we go through and what we need the most. So that is the conclusion of this book, is a call to action for proactive mental health support for all responders, not just humanitarians, but all responders, because medical doctors, non-medical doctors, firemen, policemen, military, whoever it is, struggle with a lot. There's a lot that we see out in the field and out in the places we work that sometimes leaves a scar. Not sometimes, most of the time, even not all the time, it leaves a scar. And those scars have to be dealt with, otherwise we become like this flower here. Yesterday, wait, today a digressing one. Last night, 10 p.m., as I mentioned, I had an interview with Tanya Roundy of Roundy Rants, Raves and Reviews. I said it correctly, yeah. Roundy Rants, Raves and Reviews, last night, 10 p.m., she's in the US. And she had read my book and she was so excited, and I was excited. I was humbled to have the opportunity to speak to her. Somebody just willing to talk to me about the book, talk to me about my struggles, talk to me about my life. It's amazing. It's amazing that there's something interesting someone can talk about in my life, about my life. So I had that. It was an amazing interview. So let's wait. It wasn't live, so it's a recording. She is working on it, and then she promised to send the links, send the recording later. And yeah, so it will be on her YouTube page. It will be on her Facebook page and her social media, and I will also repost it once I get it with her authorization, and repost it, and we will see the discussions we had. There were quite some deep discussions. Sorry. I told you in the other video that I have allergies in the morning. Not allergies per se, but I react kidogo in the morning. I think just the temperature difference. And yeah, and where I am, I'm on the 11th floor, so it's quite chilly. A bit chilly today. So yeah, forgive my sniffles. My nose will be misbehaving as it has already started. I hope it doesn't evolve into my eyes also misbehaving and shedding liquids out of them. Yesterday we didn't have water, so my eyes might decide to now produce water in case I decide I won't shower again. I showered yesterday. Water came at some point and I showered. So don't judge me. Don't judge me. I remember when I was in the National Theatre, 2002 to 2004, the time that I had quit medicine, Kidogo, and went into acting. So at the back of, if you've been to the National Theatre, there's the side at the back, the wall that is the barrier between National Theatre, KNT, and KBC. So at the back there's this place where there are columns and the places people can see just grass. It's like an open area. So people would go there, especially Rastafarians. The guys, those guys are amazing at drumming. We would do contemporary dance and we just would basically work. Would request one of them, give them a small token, and they would come and do drumming. Those guys are awesome. But then they're the typical stereotype of Rastafarians who, yeah, do weeding, do weeding in the farm, or who are the owners of the farms of weeds. So these guys, I would sit there. I remember one time where I became a Rastafarian, quote unquote. I got my dreadlocks 4 years ago, so that was way past. So these days you'd find the guys there like nicely, There were, so somebody said the other day at Punchline Comedy that I think 2 or 3 weeks ago at the, what is it called, at the open mic, Two Grapes, Wine and Friends, Kilimani. Actually, I'll be there this Wednesday again, hopefully. I did last week. This Wednesday I should be there again on stage. So yeah, rock up, roll over, come there, come, pop in, pop up, whatever, pop out, whatever you do, come. It's free of charge. Entry is free. It's only the drinks and the food that are fee, but the entry and laughs are free. So please come, let us laugh. It's 2 hours of just pure laughter. These are all new jokes. Some of them are by totally new comedians, virgins in the art of stand-up comedy, and they're still amazing. So please come. The vibe is good, the crowd is good, the comedians are good. Come in. So so one of the ladies, Drusilla, this week actually, Saturday at Wasp and Sprout, there's going to be a ladies Women's Day special by the ladies. We'll have Shiro, we'll have Drusilla, and 2 other wonderful ladies, amazing comedians, amazing. That's fun. You will laugh your heart out, and we'll put it back. I'm a medical doctor, remember, so I think I can put it back. I've done some crazy surgery in the past. I'm pretty sure putting your heart back into your chest is a problem. Probably make you swallow it. And yeah, Drusilla introduced somebody and said the stoner that the builder rejected. So this guy is what? Stone, high. Have you ever seen high? Like high as F. And you'd find them sitting there and philosophizing about stuff. I had one of them say, hey, maze bro, umejua Rastafari kuoga ndio mazee anakaa kinuka, ananuka kama lion. Let me show you the Rasta so that you probably have a picture of how it looked like. So this Rasta, hey, Ras niaje buda, Ras mazee, Rasta fai mazee kuoga, fai kuoga kabisa, ndio adukage kama lion, mazee ukikutana naye unashtuka jo. Those days Kugwaya was not yet Sheng. Had not become Sheng yet. So mazee anaingiza uoga juu unanuka lion, hata madogi zikikuona zinahepa mazee, Ras, hivyo ndio tunafaa kuwa. So anyway, yeah. So I showered. That's the bottom line of that. So yeah, we talked about this. We mentioned this. So please buy the book. The book is available at the Book of Gigiri Courtyard. It's also available at Kibanga Books. Kibanga Books is on Corner House, Kimathi Street on the 5th floor. Nuria Bookstore is the junction of Moi Avenue and Tapman Road. Also in the Nairobi CBD, the Bazaar on first floor. And then Nuria also has a branch in Nyali. I keep saying I'll check. I think it's in Links Mall. Just Google Nuria, and then you'll be able to see the Nairobi branch and the what's it called, and the Nyali branch. Nuria and Kibanga deliver to you. You just go to their website. You select the book you want, select this one preferably, two of them, 3, 4, 5, 10, why not? I have someone who bought 11, another one bought 5 or 6, I can't remember, another one bought 2. People are buying for their friends, so buy it for yourself, buy for someone, buy several for yourself to keep in your house. Why not? It's a nice book, it's a beautiful book. Yeah, so when I was in the show yesterday with Tanya Roundy, it was in the background, it looked like a crown of fire. Yeah. So yeah, Kibanga and Nuria have websites, so you can order there and they deliver to you wherever you are in the country. The Bookworm Cafe, I believe, also should have a website, but at least you can call them once you Google them. They're on Instagram, they're on TikTok. You can check with them, call them and find out, and they can deliver to you. I believe if they can deliver to you, then they'll advise you on the best way forward. And on Amazon.com has this book, so you can get a soft copy there, especially if you're out of the country or you don't subscribe to those who like reading hard copies. Of course, the one on Amazon is not signed. When I put it up, I had not thought of signing the book so that people just have my autograph in them. However, yeah, if you have the book already, you bought it from the bookstore, I never signed it. Whenever you find me in your area doing book reading or book signing, come with it. I will sign for you. So you'll have this a signature like this down there. You see, that's not that one. Thank you, and Wasambla. That's not Brufen. I know it looks like Brufen because I'm a medical doctor. Go to a pharmacist. Pharmacists can read doctors' handwritings. Even when we sometimes write and we can't read, go to a pharmacist. They're trained. Pharmacists are trained. Their first 2 years of training is in interpreting bad handwriting. Ask your pharmacist. They will deny it, but I'm telling you now, because yeah. I'm burning for them picture. That's not what they do, but somehow they understand our handwriting. So yeah, so that's the book. Yeah, that's it. Like a small profile there at the bottom of like a summary of the book, and then who I am. Yeah, at the top it says that if the bullet was meant to kill you, you'd not have had it. That's something that a policeman told me after we were attacked by shifters. On the way to Moyale, between Marsabit and Moyale, we were shot at. Of course, we escaped. I've never been shot, thankfully. I've never been injured badly in any of the conflict areas I've gone to, but I've had a few car accidents. So I'll talk about my near-death experiences another time. This is traumas and triggers part. Whoa, part 9, part 8, part 9, part 8, part. Let me not say because now I've forgotten again. The other day, I kept telling you the wrong one, and then it was the wrong one. Then today, I don't want to do that. I do traumas and triggers. But today we're talking about Cheka Mtoi Aishi, which is the main topic of the day. So let's kick into that. Let's jump into that. I hope I didn't digress. I didn't forget something. So yeah. The chapter is chapter 11, called From Charity to Acting and Feeling Suicidal. So I will take you through how Cheka Mtoi Aishi came about and how it evolved, and yeah, all the struggles in between. So I did Cheka Mtoi Aishi from around 2010 when I was still working for an NGO. Oh, I had done actually a recording yesterday, and I began posting it, uploading it onto YouTube, and for some reason the internet told me, you know what, we are not putting this up. We're not putting this up, and I don't know why, but now I know why. I had said I had mentioned names, I had named names. I took off my gloves. Then I remembered, yeah, I don't have a lawyer. I have a lawyer, but yeah, I don't want to risk having my lawyer being overworked by people suing me. So after the video, decided not to upload for over 7 hours, 8 hours. I took it down. So I'm basically redoing it. But I will just mention vaguely if it's you. If the shoe fits, shauri yako. As my father used to say, it's your own shauri. If the shoe fits, it fits. Yeah, that's up to you, for you to deal with. That's not my problem anymore. So I will not mention your name as an organization or as an individual in any bad light, but you know the things you did to me, you know the things that you planned for me. Yeah, you know the weapons you formed against me. And yeah, poleni sana, if it fits, it fits. That's your own problem. There are people who know me, and they know what went down, they know how things went down, they know how people moved sideways in regard to me and regard to my career, and I'm still standing. Thankfully, I'm still standing. Nothing that I can say I did specifically to be proud of, but also I did. It was me. I fought hard over time. I need to adjust myself because my legs are getting numb, and I'm holding the phone with my legs. So if I don't do that, then next thing you're going to see the phone falling down. And you might see my bed, which is half made, half not made. It's actually fully made, but I'm sitting on it, so I've messed it up. I'm in the bedroom. Today I'm not in my normal studio because there are guests again here visiting, and I don't want them to start wondering, what's this guy doing, talking to himself in the living room, in his quote-unquote studio. So yeah, I took that down. I still have it recorded, but on the phone. But I took it down because I didn't want to have. I don't like controversy, unless it gets to a point where it's the only option out. So I don't like looking for it. If it looks for me, cool, we deal with it. But I don't like looking for it. I don't want to holla. I know holla day all the time. I don't want to holla. Okay, let's go. Let's do this. Cheka Mtoi Aishi. Cheka Mtoi Aishi is. Loosely translated to Laugh and Save a Baby, Laugh and Save a Newborn, because the project was on newborns, and of course, very tiny babies who just come out of the theater or come out of the maternity ward, are in the either neonatal ICU, NICU, or are in the wards with their mothers. So basically, the idea of Cheka Mtoi Aishi came about when I was sitting with Gina Mutune. Gina Mutune is an amazing actress, an amazing entertainer, an amazing entrepreneur also, who studied in Hollywood, or at least who was in Hollywood at some point. She studied, I think, acting and stuff like that in the US, and then was in Hollywood for some time, came back to Kenya. So I saw her on TV at one point, and managed to find her. Sometimes you can find these celebrities, and sometimes they even talk to you, and not like my former friends and former colleagues who, developed managers. No, they didn't develop. It's good. I mean, I'm proud that I've seen people grow into now people who can talk about they have managers and they have PAs, and they plan their time, and someone plans the time for them and plans their schedule, and the phone number they've always had is now an office number, so you can never get to them because the manager's on picks it and then tells you that they're very busy and they'll call you back and they never call you back. Am I complaining? Maybe yes, maybe no. I'll give a F. Yeah. So where I met Gina Mutune. We were having I think a coffee one early morning, 7 a.m. I think we met at 6:45 at the Junction Art Cafe. The junction was still quite small that time. I mean, it was big, but still much smaller than it is right now. And that was circa 2009, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, around 2009. So I was already in the NGO sector, but at the same time I was, 2010. I was in the NGO sector. I'd been working for about 2 years in the NGO sector by that time. No, wait a minute. I went into NGO in 2007. So this probably was 2011. Because I'd already done one NGO, I was in the second NGO. Yeah. So I was doing HIV program management, HIV work, TB, reproductive health, orphans and vulnerable communities and stuff like that. So I had started, and then of course, then one time I just began asking myself, what more can I do with my talent? At that time, I was doing a lot of comedy stuff, stand up, not a lot, but quite a bit. Because I remember I told you that I had begun my professional acting career in Russia while I was in university. I talked about it, I think, 2 episodes ago. So it wasn't a new thing for me to be doing comedy in Kenya. So I was doing stand-up comedy in the organization I used to work for. They know me. I was basically 2 organizations I worked for actually. I was a comedian. I was the class clown, the office clown, so to speak. So when there were events, I would be the main comedy act, the only comedy act. Again, these are mostly doctors, nurses, clinical personnel who, as you know, we can be boring sometimes, or we may be fun, but we're not fun in public, or we're fun in public, but fun within our small cliques. So I was the one who would be publicly put out there to make people laugh. And yeah, we had some good laughs. My comedy most of the time is situational, improv as we go, but also about myself, as I mentioned also in the show last night with Tanya Rounding. So I was the one who was doing comedy for the organizations, and so it wasn't new for me to be doing comedy. So I thought to myself, what more can I do with my talent? I have the knowledge of a doctor, I have the skills of a doctor, I have the experience of a doctor, which is good, and I would want to use that with the public more than just what I was doing in the NGO sector, more than just what I was doing where I was working. So I began asking myself what more I could do. So it's in this period that I met Gina Mutune. So and she had talked about the innovations she had and how people need to use their passion and use their innovations and use their skills and to change the world. So I thought to myself, you know what? And I thought to myself, said to myself, Yeah, so I decided to meet her. We met, as I said, very early in the morning. Most of my meetings have always been as early as possible, whether I was working or not. Especially meetings that were related to what I was doing or what I do personally. I prefer early in the morning when I'm fresh. We are both fresh, or we are all fresh as we are meeting. But at the same time, gives me then more room in the course of the day. If there's something I need to do regarding that meeting, then I have the rest of the day to do it. Also, if I have other things to do, then I have time to do other things. So then I put my most important things as early as possible, and then as the day progresses, not that they're less important, but then things that maybe can be reprioritized or replanned or can be done later, that maybe don't need the entire brain power that I have, so that when I'm tired, at least I'm then stuttering down what I'm doing. So we met and we're chatting there, having coffee, breakfast, and whatever. So then she asks me, so what do you think you can do if you were to merge your comedy with your medicine? And sometimes there are people who are just specially placed to trigger good in you, to invoke or to evoke ideas out of you which I had not thought of. I hadn't thought of combining both medicine and comedy, or medicine and acting, medicine and entertainment. I hadn't thought of that. I just knew I am both. And she was like, yeah, you're doing this, you're doing medicine, you're doing a good job wherever you are, for based on what you're telling me, and having known the programs that you do in the country. You're funny, you're a comedian. She had seen some of my jokes even in church, or maybe a video or something. So then that part she knew about, and also from what I told her. So she's like, yeah, is there a way you can combine those and do something, either for medicine or in the community that changes lives? And within about a minute or two, an idea hit me, because I then remembered all my children, my three children, were born a few weeks before time, due to some complications, and I saw each one of them basically right after birth. So my two daughters, my elder daughters, Angel and Kathy, 16 and 13 respectively, I basically received them just after they were born. Literally held them in my hands and took them all the way, walked them all the way to where the heater, as a room heater, was in theater. Joe, I did not get the chance to do that, because when Joe was born, we didn't have a house help, a house manager, so I had to stay with the two girls, but at the hospital. So I went with all of them to the hospital. The operation was at, I think, 4:30 in the morning. The cesarean section was 4:30 in the morning. So we got there. So I was with my daughter, so I couldn't leave them out and walk into theater. So Joe was born, and then as the nurse was taking him to the neonatal ICU, I then held him in my hands. It was this tiny, beautiful, wonderful boy. So I and all of them had to be within a warmed environment for a few hours before now their bodies adjusted. So then I thought, wait a minute. So I think that's what sparked this idea. Having seen my babies, and of course knowing the statistics of neonatal deaths, knowing the statistics of neonatal morbidity and mortality in the country, and of course specifically hypothermia, then an idea came. Why don't I use comedy to raise and create and raise, I don't know, raise, one of those two. Now I'm saying raise, create, to create awareness on hypothermia in newborns, hypothermia, pneumonia in newborns and in babies, and then hopefully raise money from that, and do donation to hospitals for space heaters. Because I realized in my work in NGO, we'd go to many health facilities, and so many health facilities, the public ones, we were supporting public hospitals, public facilities, did not have a space heater, a room heater in the theater to be used for baby. Some did, but not all. Some had some that was so old they were barely pushing out heat or warmth. They didn't have space heaters in the neonatal units or in theater, or in both, or sometimes in one or the other. They would use it and then run with it to the ward, run with it to the theater if a baby was being born. So that was an issue. So I thought, wait a minute, so there's this gap in the healthcare system which I could actually fill. I could fill it by using my knowledge as a doctor, but converting it into comedy, so that it's a comedy event, and I talk about this either during or after or before, but this becomes the main reason for all this event. And then whatever money is raised from donors, raised from the corporates, raised from schools, even from just events where schools would pay small amounts of money per student, maybe 50 bob or 30 bob per student. Cumulatively, we collect that, buy heaters, brand them with the name of the institution or the people that were supporting in this particular event, and then donate them to random hospitals. That's how this came about. So I said, yeah, why don't I probably raise awareness with my comedy and on medical stuff, and then raise money for equipment. She was like, yeah, wow, that's a good idea. What will you call it? And on the spot, of course, 2 3 minutes later, as we're taking tea, I'm like, yeah, why don't I call it Cheka Mtoi Aishi? So Gina Mutune, I don't know if she's now learned Sheng, but that time she wasn't very Sheng fluent. She's like, yeah, what does that mean? I'm like, yeah, so Cheka is laugh. Of course, she knew that. Mtoi, she was like, yeah, Mtoi, is that a kid? I'm like, yeah, Cheka Mtoi. Mtoi is a child or a baby or or a young person, but Mtoi is basically Kijana would be a young person. So Mtoi would be a child or a newborn. So I'm like, yeah, Aishi is to live. So laugh and save a baby, laugh and let a baby live, laugh and let a newborn live, laugh and save a newborn. So as you're laughing, you're basically saving a newborn. So you're not just laughing, haha, pushing it out and making people smell your mouth. You're actually saving a baby somewhere. And yeah, so she was like, yeah, that's a wonderful idea. I wrote it down, make sure that I didn't forget it. And then, of course, I now began now putting things together. So as I was putting this together, I was still working. So what I decided to do, I remember I mentioned that I am good at compartmentalizing. So I compartmentalized my work. And that's why I always have 3 different phones. Okay, I have different phones for the different parts of my life. I have a personal phone. If I'm employed or working somewhere, I have a work phone. And if I'm doing my other things, like now I'm doing the Broken Souls, that's my main kind of hustle at the moment. I've been jobless for 7 months, so this might be my only job at the moment before the next mission. So yeah, when I'm doing that or doing like my other things that I do, then I have a separate phone for that, so that people when they call me, they know either they're calling the comedian, they're calling the doctor, they're calling me, or they're calling the job where I work at. So I completely separate those. I completely separate. So in my mind, I'm also able to completely separate. So I've separated my time. So 8 to 5, I was in the office, completely focused on the work of the office. 5 now to probably next morning, I would then focus on Cheka Mtoi Aishi. So putting things together, proposals, brochures, everything that needed to be put in place, communicating and interacting with the heads of institutions or in charges of certain things, CSR and stuff like that. And that's how I eventually got quite a number of organizations supporting Cheka Mtoi Aishi, just by that. And then on weekends, then I would focus on events. So I would have comedy events, comedy shows, and then from those comedy shows, whatever money was raised, I would buy heaters, and I would even tell them these heaters are for these facilities in this location, and I'm going to take them. I worked even with the governors. I worked with governors I worked with senators, to do this, and the governors did not necessarily give me money, but I worked with them to make sure that as they were doing their work, I would move with them in their political rallies or in their visits to certain localities and do my donations there, do a bit of comedy, speak about the cause that I was running, the initiative I founded, the Cheka Mtoi Aishi, the charitable trust. So yeah, that was what I was doing, and it was known. I didn't hide it. I told my bosses, you people know that I'm a comedian, you know that I'm an actor, and yeah, so I'm spending my evenings and weekends working on this. And they're like, yo, that is amazing. You can actually do that. I'm like, yeah, and my work was speaking for itself. I didn't struggle. I didn't have to require extra hours or extra time to deliver. Or even any help to deliver. So it drained me. Can I assure you, it drained me, because I was basically sometimes working 24 hours straight or more than that. When now ideas were really pumping in, or urgent requests or requirements or needs by people or schools or institutions, I needed something urgently before we could plan and put together a show, an event. Sometimes I had to work like 24, even 36 hours straight. So I'd go to the office, come back in the evening, doing this thing I'm doing, wake up the next morning, go to the office, come back in the evening and do this thing I'm doing until things were set, so that by the weekend an event was set. So I was trying to make sure that every weekend I was having an event somewhere, in a church, in a school, at a corporate event, whatever it is. Bottom line, by the time we were done with Cheka Mtoi Aishi, I had donated space heaters to not less than 150 health facilities that I can remember now that were recorded. I have to find those records somewhere in my documents. 150 health facilities had been supported in Kenya, and 2 in Zanzibar. So during this time, as I mentioned, I was very transparent with the organization I was working in, and I told them. They knew very, very well. At some point, just at the beginning, actually, at the very beginning, there was a newspaper article that was written about me. I don't know, someone I think probably went and told the K24. about this thing I was doing. I think either there's one of the staff who knew a nurse in one of the facilities that I had taken a heater to, and the story came out. They looked for me, did an interview with me, and K24 had a newspaper. They put it in the paper, and it was seen by Jubilee Insurance. Jubilee Insurance usually has an award, either it's twice a year or is it once, I can't remember. I'm not sure about it now. Jubilee Insurance Samaritan Award, JISA or JISA. So they were looking for nominees, and it so happened that someone saw that newspaper article and saw that TV interview, and they're like, yo, this is something you should do, this is someone you should pick. So they picked me. Next thing I'm hearing after the interview and the newspaper article, hey, you've been nominated for Jubilee Insurance American Award. Next thing I'm hearing, you've been awarded, you're the winner. I'm like, yo, okay, nice. This is doing something, someone is seeing. It was amazing that someone had seen. So yeah, I told my boss, we happened to be in Nairobi. I used to work in Embu at that time, so we happened to be in Nairobi for some meetings. As one of the program managers, I was there. So when the invite came, I went to my boss and said, sir, in 2 days' time, I'll be awarded for this work I've been doing. I'm receiving this award at Hilton Hotel. There'll be media, blah, blah, blah. And I'm inviting you kindly because you've been my mentor in program management, and also you've allowed me to be doing this. Not that he would have stopped me, because I was doing it in the evening and at night. And on weekends when I wasn't, that was my time. I said, you've allowed me, you've supported me. He had even actually, I think, bought a heater or something. So I was like, yeah, cool. And he bought a heater for a specific facility within his locality in Ukambani, which I branded again. Initially, I was branding them just writing with a permanent marker on top of the heater, on the side of the heater, Cheka Mtoi Aishi, saving babies in Africa, one heater at a time, and then I read the name of the donor. So it was known who had donated it through Cheka Mtoi Aishi. And yeah, I requested him to join me, and he was very graceful, gracious, and grateful. Yeah, there was grace involved somewhere. He agreed to come. Yeah, he was there at Hilton. There was media all over the place, and I mean, there were people there. We had the Mr. Tumbo, who was the then director of Jubilee Insurance, who handed me the award. Here we are. That's me receiving the award, and that is Mr. Tumbo, who was the then director. Ezekiel Mutua was one of the people who handed me the award. There you go. Wait a minute. This was after, so I received the award there. Then some months later, you see Kenyatta Hospital. We were at Kenyatta Hospital. Of course, Mr. Ezekiel Mutua was still there. He was there. I don't know where he was working at that moment. He wasn't at that time in the communications sector. You see Honorable Naisula Lesuda, she was very supportive for a long time. We were with her. I even delivered heaters to Samburu. I think it was after this, because Jubilee Insurance gave me about 40 room heaters. You see how slim I used to be. This when you see this is Baba Boy, right? That's now looks like Baba Boy. That was Baba Boy. That is also the Ever Ready Watchman. That's not that's not this guy. It's the same person, just in case. Yeah, I can't remember who this lady was. I can't remember, but I think she was from part of Jubilee Insurance. This is Mr. Tumbo. Mr. Tumbo, who was the director of Jubilee Insurance. Same guy there. So this was at Kenyatta Hospital. So we donated, I think, 15 to 20 room heaters for Kenyatta Hospital. So this is my bookmark at the moment. It's gone away. My bookmark, my hairband is my bookmark, so I don't forget where the page is. So yeah, Kenyatta Hospital received, I think, about 15 to 20 heaters. Pumwani was to receive another 15 to 20 of those, but Pumwani Hospital, the director, I had spoken everything. I talked to the nurse in charge. I think I delivered 2 heaters earlier, and I went back to the director. I said, sir, this event that we did in Kenyatta Hospital was supposed to be at Pumwani, because Pumwani, as you know, that's where we have a lot of babies. So I had a lot of babies being delivered. It was like the main facility within the Nairobi area and environs where babies are delivered. So the Pumwani was supposed to be the facility where this event was supposed to happen. So I went and met the director, and I'd spoken to the nurse in charge. I'd spoken to the in charge of the neonatal department and pediatric department. The nurses were amazing, the doctors were amazing, and they said, listen, either way, you have to talk to the director of the facility, the medical superintendent. And I went and met the gentleman. He was quite nice initially, and I said, yeah, so you've seen the heaters I delivered? They said, yeah, it was you. I said, yeah, it was me. It's just me as an individual. I have a very small group. It's not an organization per se. It's just my initiative that I put together. I'm still setting things up. I don't receive funding. I actually create, I do resource mobilization by doing events and bringing on board money and buying equipment by myself. I literally would go to the shops, buy them and tag them and do whatever needs to be done and deliver them, sometimes with my friends. Eventually, these are the friends who were in the crews of the TV shows I worked in. You know them, The Real Houses of Kawangware, Hapakule News, and of course some who are from other shows affiliated or friends of the people in the shows I worked with. Later joined, not as employees, but just supporting the cause. So, and of course Julius Masai, or aka Mass Comedian. I can mention him, I can tag him, I can speak about him. He's been a brother to me. We met at one of the late Fred Omondi's shows at KICC, and yeah, we've been working very well together with him. When he heard about my project, he just said, Dave, I'll be with you. I'll be with you, I'll support you, I'll be your brother, we'll work together this. And we worked together for a long time. And even after Cheka Mtoi Aishi was wound up its activities and I closed the doors on that, he's still been with me. Every time I had something, he would be the one, hey, kuja kwa show. He works on ATG radio. He was like, yeah, kuja kwa show, tuonge, kuja kwa show, nikuinterview, kuja kwa show, nini. So he's always been willing to support and very supportive. So Masai, asante sana, salute kwako. Pumwani Hospital. I was digressing and I was about to forget what I was going to say. Pumwani Hospital, met a medical superintendent, told him about this. He's like, yeah, thank you for the heaters you brought. So what's up? What's next? Any ideas? I'm like, yeah, I would like to come with the media. I'm receiving 40 space heaters from someone. I didn't tell him it was Jubilee Insurance. I'm receiving about 40 or 50 space heaters. I can't remember the number. And I would like to bring them to your facility. I would like to bring the majority to your facility. I was told that you need maybe 50 heaters. Sorry, I was saying, and I can't remember, and they're here. They actually here. You would have laughed at me that I wrote 50 and I didn't even read it. It's 50 heaters. So I told him, yeah, I would love to bring you the majority, 20, even 25 if we need more, but at least 25, and then the others I would spread around Kenyatta Hospital, other health facilities. You would think this would be a good thing, and you'd think that in a health facility, in a public health facility where funding is struggling and someone brings you equipment for free, not asking for anything, you would be happy because you're working for the patients. I mean, I don't say he wasn't working for the patients or for the babies that were being delivered or for the mothers that were delivering there or for the patients who are going there and the families, but yeah, he became the typical government official who wanted a bribe. I think in his mind he thought I was seeking for funding externally from some donors. That's what sometimes happens. People come and say, we are an organization, we have this proposal, put it together, we'd like your facility to be one of the facilities you support. So if you'd allow us to name you or have you part of the support, and then they say, okay, what's the kickback? So that when the funding comes, there's a kickback to the in charge, to the director, to the superintendent, whatever it is. I know that happens. You know that happens. Let us not pretend that it doesn't happen. It happens. So I think in this guy's mind, he thought I was seeking for funding, or I was going to use it to seek for funding from some donors, so that he wanted a kickback from me. So he wanted me to promise him a kickback or give him something in upfront, so that then he approves for me to work in the facility, to bring the project to the facility. So he kept saying this and insinuating this in many, many ways, and eventually he just said, yeah, so what's in it for me? I said, Daktari, I repeat, kindly understand, you saw the brochure and I've spoken to you and you saw how those heaters came. Those were heaters I bought from my own money, with my own money from my pocket. I am not receiving any funding. I am raising funds as I go. I am raising funds by event. Nobody's giving me money. This was from Jubilee Insurance. They never even gave me the money. They are going to buy the heaters. Actually, I bought them. They were full in my house. There was a time I had so many heaters in my house. People would come and think I was doing wholesale and selling electronics, but specifically heaters as a focus. I don't even have that photo here. I don't think I got that photo into the book where I had heaters in my house stacked up, wall and wall and wall. So some I had bought earlier. The Jubilee Insurance bought 50, and those 50 of course were in cartons, so they were stacked up along on two of my walls in the living room. So I told him, no, Doctor, I don't think you understand what I'm saying. I am the one who is sourcing for the heaters. Jubilee Insurance have given me 50 heaters. They bought them and they gave them to me. All I needed to do is distribute them. And because I'd come here 2 weeks ago, and when I was netting the 2 heaters, I realized there's more need for heaters. So I'm happy to give you heaters for the facility that you can use, keep some in the store. If some break down, you can always replace them, or put them in the maternity with where the women are, so that the women and the babies are also warm after the babies come out of the ICU or the maternity or theater or whatever it is. The guy was like, no. Daktari, I need something. I said, oh, you need something. So let's wait for an F to fall from the sky so that I have an F to give to you. And I walked away. And I told the nurses, I am sorry. You guys enjoy the two that I've already given. They're like, no, but why, but how, but who, but where? I'm like, yeah, so your boss just told me that he wants me to give him something. From the nothing that I have, he wants me to give him something before he can allow this to happen. And media was going to come in, and it was going to be like, a big thing, so that the facility has more publicity, and if there's any more people willing to support the facility, they'll support the facility. I was bringing the heaters and walking away. I told them I'm sorry. They begged me, please. I said, I'm not going to beg him to give him support, to give you support. I wanted to. I came of my own volition, of my own accord, tried, and he said no. He said, unless I give him something, that's it. I'm not getting funding. They understood what was happening. He refused to understand despite the explanations, and I walked away. Went to Kenyatta Hospital, said, hey, KMH, I gave you a heater last week when I didn't have enough money, like about the month before. I now have 25 heaters to give you. All I need is a space for the media to come so that Jubilee Insurance hands over to me 50, I give you your 20, the other 30 I redistribute to the nations. I mean, to the what? To the nations, to the country, to other health facilities. Otherwise, like, you said you're what? You're bringing us free space heaters. You, Dave, you're bringing us space heaters for free. When are you bringing them? You're late. We will find time. We'll find people. We'll find space for you. And they found a hall and everything was set. And that's how I informed Honorable Lesuda. But Honorable Lesuda was introduced to me by the mzee who was selling me heaters. The owner of Triolac Electricals, who is in the Nairobi CBD. He introduced me to her. She then introduced me to Honorable Sonko. So when I went to Samburu eventually after this, we went with we went by car, and then of course Honorable Lesuda came later, and Honorable Sonko came on a chopper. We were with them for about 2 days. We delivered heaters there. We didn't manage to do the event that we had planned for. Something went wrong with the coordination, so we didn't have the event, but we still did the donation. It is in Samburu, one of the downtimes. We had a day in between that nothing was happening, and I began writing my first book, The Power of Passion. Just took a notebook and wrote by hand. I think half of the book I put. It wasn't a very big book, about 100 pages. 50 of those pages I wrote by hand. Because I thought, you know what, I've been doing this for about a year or so. I need to just put this in writing. The power of passion is basically how do you use your talent and your knowledge and anything else to bring change to the world. It might be a small thing, it might be a big thing, but bring change to the world with your talent other than just your academics. Or if you don't have academics, which sometimes may happen, at least your talent. So I did that. Yeah. So coming back to Kenyatta Hospital, so we did that. We received, did the donation. I made it very public who was donating to. I already planned which facilities would receive, apart from Pumwani Hospital. I happily say I did not give to them because, how do you do that? How do you demand money from me, who am getting money out of my pocket, and from the events that I do, I don't have funding, and you want me to give you money to bring equipment to you? What the hell, bro? Really? Anyway. So that's how Pumwani missed out on that. Other facilities benefited from that. Maybe it wasn't their time, it wasn't their moment, or it wasn't their luck at that particular moment. At least they got two, which I'm pretty sure must be way long dead by now. Rigor mortis has set in and set out and buried and cremated and warm food. I don't know if equipment becomes warm food, but the equivalent of what we would have been if it was us. So so Cheka Mtoi Aishi kicked on. It was doing very well. I was in the media, I was everywhere, I was in the newspapers, I was basically being interviewed left, right, and center. Every weekend I had interviews, an event and an interview, or both, or one or the other. So it was blowing up. If you just go on and just type David or something. A lot of it, okay, right now, recent things will come from the book and the Humanitarian Chronicles and what I'm doing right now, but you would still find Cheka Mtoi Aishi. Many of the newspapers at Cheka Mtoi Aishi. I think I remember at one point I had around 60 or 70 links to articles and videos that were done about Cheka Mtoi Aishi and about me and the work I was doing. And it was pushed mostly by the award I received. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful to the public. I'm grateful to Jubilee Insurance. I'm grateful to you who remember, you who know, you who don't know, you who are watching. I'm very grateful. I don't take it for granted. So all this time I didn't know that all this publicity and fame was rubbing off wrongly on the organization and on the bosses where I was at that time. It was a US funded organization, a US funded project. So of course, at some point we had meetings, program management meetings. We came to Nairobi and the bosses came from the US. We had this whole hula baloo, 2-3 days or whatever it was. I was presenting for my region. Everybody was busy doing their presentations, and it was going quite well. And then, of course, in my generosity and my big heart thing, I don't know whether it is hypertrophy or just big heart, whatever the case may be. Maybe it's that big heart that's now causing me high blood pressure. I told you the other day that I have high blood. I was not diagnosed, but we noticed when I was doing a random blood pressure check before I did a blood donation for a cousin of mine that it was found I had stage 2 high blood pressure, stage 2 hypertension. So if I F around and I'll find out, I probably will be in critical hypertension, which is not a good thing. And someone told me, I thought to myself, maybe it's all this work I've been doing, the traumas that are getting to me. A cousin told me, yeah, all even this white hair, that he's 70 and I'm 51 and I have this white hair more than him, is because of the stress and the strain and the trauma. And probably that's what's causing the white hair. I don't know, maybe I'm just cute. What do you think? Yeah, so if stress causes cuteness, yeah, give me more. No, I don't want more. That's enough. I'm done. Let it just continue whitening without any stress. So yeah, eventually at some point I remember one time received a call from the country director. I was in Embu. I remember I was at the provincial offices at that time. We still had provinces. At the provincial office, I was negotiating some tough discussions with the provincial bosses. There were some issues that had happened, and we were supposed to do some project, and they were really rejecting it, and it had been rejected even before I joined the organization. So I had to make some tough calls. And I was like, yeah. So I was talking to him, asking him, yeah. So what do you think about this? Because I have to make this tough decision and threaten them basically with not funding, that fund not going to them if they continue playing hardball. They were just playing hardball for nothing. There was no reason at all. I think they wanted a kickback, and I'm not the kickback kind of guy. So I told them, yeah, you didn't get kickbacks next time. I won't give you kickbacks. I can, however, support you. If you do capacity building, then you become the main trainers. I can support you in that. But it's not about you get the kickbacks. That's me handing you money. How do I account for that? I can account for you training. I can't account for money that disappears and goes to your pockets. So I was going to tell them that. I'm like, yeah, I need you to back me up on this or give me an alternative as to what else I can say to let them know we are serious and we're not just going to throw money around. So we talk. I'm in the provincial office. And then he says, oh, by the way, remember in my big heart, I had given magic mugs. You know the magic mugs, the mugs that are dark when they're cold, and then you've written something on them, something special as a message, and then you pour in hot water, hot liquid, and it turns the darkness, the black goes away, and then the message appears on the side of the mug until it cools down again and it hides. Magic marks. It was a thing that I did quite a lot with my projects. I need to start it now for Humanitarian Chronicles. I'm working on that for the podcast, especially when I start interviewing people. So I had gone and created 3 magic mugs for the 3 bosses who came from the US, and I requested through this country director not to do it myself in person, but through him. So I gave them to him through his PA or his secretary, and then he then handed them over to the US team. And I inscribed their names. I got their names correctly, put in a name, put in, I think, an animation or some picture cartoon or something that was relevant to what the idea was on that meeting. Then I wrote this other side, Cheka Mtoi Aishi, the project I'm running. So I gave it to them nicely, just being nice. I'm always happy to do something nice for people. So this guy calls me this evening, 2-3 weeks later. We had been talking about this provincial problem, and then he's like, yeah, by the way, remember the mugs you gave to the US team? Yes, they received them, they were grateful, but there's a problem that has come out of that. I'm like, yeah, what's up? They're like, yeah, they kind of looked into you and they see the kind of work you're doing, a lot of the publicity you have, and you seem to be very, very busy, and they're asking. So you know, the way you just throw people out of the bus and you throw the blame on them. They're asking what time you work. And I just said, excuse me, sir, among the managers, I was very confident, among the managers that you have in the organization, how many of them deliver on time on everything? Deliverables, implementation, planning, implementation, and up to reporting. He said, you are one of the best, if not the best. I said, thank you. I know it because I've seen us in meetings when we are struggling with things, and I always deliver. You know that. Yes, I know. So, so where is the question coming from about whether I have enough time to do my work? What time do I have to do my work? If I deliver one, where is the problem? Number two, have you ever had any report from my boss? Because I was in the field office, so of course as a program manager, health advisor, and then of course there was a chief of party, and then the chief of party reported to the country director. I said, have you? And there's a director in Nairobi that reported to, director of that department, and then the country director. So the fourth in line in management. So I said, asked him, so have you ever had a report from anybody, even from among the junior staff? Because I knew there's always a spy in every team who reports back directly to the big people. I said, even from the people who report to you, the junior staff, quote unquote spies, anybody that has ever reported, have you ever had that I do my work, my charity work, outside during work hours? No. Good. So I report, I do my work well. I do my work, I do the job fully 5 to 8. And then I asked him the third thing, did I not report this to you and you are aware and everybody is aware, all managers, the organization is aware, HR is aware that I do this on the side. Past 5 p.m. when I'm home, that's my hour, right? Right. And on the weekends, that's my time, right? Right. So what is the problem? He said, yeah, I understand, but the boss. I'm like, no, but if you know me and you're my boss and you're the one who is mentoring me and you're the one who is supporting me, why can't you defend it? Why is it so difficult to defend that? I just asked him bluntly. He's like, yeah, no, it's not me. Me, I'm okay. Me, I understand. But I'm like, no, but they're not asking me. They're asking you. If they're asking you, truly, then you should be able to defend because you know how I work. When I went for the award, you were there. I spoke about you as an individual. I spoke about the organization. Even if you look at the newspaper articles now, by the way, if you look at the newspaper articles, I always say in the newspaper articles, I am doing this as an individual myself and in my time, but I also work for this organization that does an amazing job in the country. So I work for this organization, then I work for me on weekends. It was very clear everywhere. There was no intermingling of information, merging or confusion of information. So I said, yeah, but doc, I don't understand what's going on. Well, later it will turn out that it was actually he who had a problem and other managers who had a problem and my peers who had a problem with this whole thing because apparently I was becoming too famous for my own good. So anyway, yeah, so he said, yeah, and they want to launch an investigation. I said, good, bring it on. I don't have a problem, bring it on. They want to check. And then apparently he also said, yeah, they're asking if maybe the money you're getting and using for the charity work is from the organization. I said, excuse me, hold up, pull up, wait a minute. What are you even talking about? Do I even have a budget line? No. Do I have any time that I touch money from the organization for any project that comes directly to me? No. Is there any time that I ever interact with finances? No. So what is the question that you are asking me, that you are claiming they're asking me that you cannot respond to? He kept quiet for a minute, then he said, anyway, they're coming for investigation. They want to, they're considering investigating. I said, fine, let them come. Let them come and investigate it. That's what they want to do. Let them come and do it. By sheer coincidence, your brother here got appendicitis 2 weeks after that. I don't know whether it was in coincidence or the world or the universe or whatever it is you have to say. But yeah, I got appendicitis. I was admitted in hospital, Mata Hospital. So when I was in Mata Hospital, I called the chief of party who was away. Chief of party was away on leave, so another chief of party from another location was covering for her in Embu office. So I called him. I'm like, hey doc, yeah, I'm in Nairobi. I'm at Mata Hospital. I've just been admitted, and yeah, I have theater tomorrow morning. It hadn't burst, but it was just about to burst. The appendix, not the burst, the appendix. So yeah, I told him, yeah, I'm going in for theater fasting in the morning, so I'm being admitted right now to be prepared for theater. He was like, oh, and the concern, I tell you the concern, some people are loving, some people are amazing, some bosses can be amazing, maybe yours is like that. He said, Dave, you're going for theater, but the investigators are here to investigate you. I was like, boss, my friend, Dr. So-and-so. I don't want to mention names. I don't want my lawyer to be worked. Oh, Dr. So-and-so, you mean? Oh my gosh, you mean you're so concerned about me? You're so concerned that I'm going into theater when the investigators are coming, so they can't investigate me because I'll be in theater and I'm sick, and so they can't investigate what I'm doing, which is not even true, that I'm doing anything wrong against the organization, but not investigate me because you guys can't defend me for what I'm doing. So, you're so concerned. I'm so touched. I am feeling. Let me find myself in my book so you can see it one more time. You see the book as I'm finding myself. I'll find this other side because I'm like, boss. F you. Okay, I didn't say it, but I thought it. Just disconnected the call, did my operation the next day. After theater, people came, colleagues came, including somebody from Human Resources. Came, saw me, confirmed us, probably saw the cut and the bandages, and they're like, oh yeah, he was operated. He wasn't pretending. And then the HR lady was like, oh, by the way, Dave, as once you recover the course of the day, please log into the system and request for 14 days of recuperation leave. I'm like, oh yeah, cool, by the way, thanks for reminding me. I had just come from Embu, direct to Mata Hospital, so I had my laptop and everything. So when I woke up, I logged in, requested for my 14 days recuperation, got it approved, received an email and confirmation from the system that it was an online system. And I had that. Luckily, I did a screenshot of the system approval, and I also had an email confirming that the chief of party had approved it. So, see me, I finish, get out of hospital, go home. I'm now chilling, resting, recovering. The holes in my tummy are healing, pole. Of course, in the meantime, I'm doing also my stuff. So I'm like, see, I'm on leave now. Let me do my other crap. So I'm doing my Cheka Mtoi Aishi things, doing donations here and there because I had some meters at home. So on day 12, night 12, before now, I was supposed to go for my checkup on day 13, then day 14, go back to work. The day 15 was supposed to go back to work, but I had my appointment on day 13. I just felt, let me check my emails. There could be something really urgent or something pending that I had not done before. Let me just go in now. I'm much more recovered. Went in, and yeah. Emails upon emails on top of emails under emails next to emails with other emails and baby emails. David, where have you been? David, where are you? You've absconded duty. How dare you abscond duty? What is wrong with you? You should come to the office immediately. Why are you not coming to work? When you come, go and see HR immediately. HR sends an email. When you come, go see your boss immediately. So it was a whole. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Absalom? Who is that? Am I David's son? You remember Absalom had long hair in the Bible. I'm absconded. What the hell, bro? So I check, and I'm like, well, when did I abscond? I'm trying to remember. When did I abscond? I don't remember absconding. Was I high? I mean, I had anesthesia, and it's that one. But I don't remember absconding without knowing. Am I in a dream? So I decided to go to the office the next day. I'm like, hey, what's happening? So I went to HR, of course. I went and saw my boss. So the chief of party had come back from leave, was in the office. I met her. I'm like, hey, Dr. How are you? And she was not talking to me. You could see resentment, bile in her eyes. I don't know if you have bile in the eyes, but there was resentment in her eyes. And I don't know what I'd done. I'm like, but we've always been good. All of a sudden, what has happened? And she was pissed off at me. And she's like, go see HR. I'm like, HR. I said, go see HR. I'm like, okay, cool. I went back to HR. I went down to HR, and I'm like, excuse me, sir. I've been sent to you by my boss. Said, no, go and see her. I'm like, no, she sent me. No, you go and see her. She's your boss. Oh, back upstairs. Mr. So-and-so said, I come and see you. She said, no, go to HR first. Talk to them, then come and talk to me. I'm like, okay, this is becoming weird. I remember when I was walking to HR, the two or three HR ladies, the HR assistants or whatever, were quite uneasy talking to me. And we used to be very easy. I remember there was a comedian of the organization. I was doing my job well. Nothing had been a problem. Suddenly now I could just see them. They were like, like they couldn't sit still in their seats. They were looking like they were barely able to swallow the coffee they were drinking. Something was cooking, and I felt something was cooking. The vibe was different. There's something in the air that was not ambient. The ambience was bad. So I walked back to HR. I'm like, sir, she has told me categorically to come and see you first, then go back to her after I've seen you. He said, okay. So he was fiddling. Then he said, okay, sit down. And his first question was, do you have a problem with us as an organization? I'm like, no. Do you have a problem with your bosses? No. Do you have a problem with Dr. So-and-so now the candidate? I said, no. Why? So an unfortunate thing had happened during the time that I had been harassed. I felt harassed by the boss when he, on that call, he told me about the suspicion about my embezzlement of funds, embezzlement of time, not using the time correctly of the organization, using organizational time and money for doing my work, which was wrong and false. And I pushed back, and it was very clear that there was no validity in the accusations, and he should have defended me. So I got pissed off, and I went onto Facebook and I wrote a whole thing. I didn't mention his name, but of course, people who knew me knew where I worked. People who knew who he was knew that I was talking about him. I'm like, yeah, my boss called me. We had a call, and he told me that apparently what I've been doing. I've been doing using organization time, and everybody knows. And the way people sometimes rant on social media. Please don't rant about your personal things on social media. Keep it. No, I'm not saying me now. Me, I'm doing therapy. I'm doing therapy. I'm my therapist. So keep. This is confidential therapy. Therapist confidentiality. So. So I ranted. So that was my big mistake, that I put it on social media. So it's like, yeah, people know you, people know us, you're famous, blah blah blah. Of course, by that time I'd already done the Everready commercial. I had not Hapakule News and the houses, Real Houses of Kangwari now came after this issue. So he says, yeah, people saw your Facebook posts, then were calling you, and then it was seen some weeks before, and then we were trying to call you, you're not picking your calls, you're just ignoring our calls, and we were seeing you had your phone wherever you were, and we saw you, some photos came up, and you're on social media doing donations, but we are calling you, and you absconded duty, you never came to work, 14 days, you should have been dismissed on the 5th day or something, we sent you warning letters, and you didn't come to work. I'm like, absconded what duties? Forget about the social media, I'm sorry about the social media, I apologize for that, yes, but forget about that. What abscondment are you talking about? It's like, yeah, but you never came to work. I'm like, nigga, I was operated on. Your staff, so and so, came to hospital and saw me after the operation. She is the one who even reminded me to request my leave. And I requested my leave. He said, no, you never can, you just disappeared. I'm like, open my laptop, showed him, what is this? And what is this screenshot of the approval? So he began now, so you absconded. I'm like, please, excuse me. Absconded how? But the system, I didn't write this. This email was approved by the chief of party that I was requesting for sick of 14 days to recuperate from theater. This approval here, the screenshot, okay, not this and this on the same the same laptop. I'm like, what are you talking about? I was asking, what is the problem? What is the problem you have with me? He said, no, you see, now you wrote those things, and then now we were seeing you and we were calling you. I'm like, I put out my 3 mobile phones on the table. I'm like, so this is my personal phone. Look at that photo. Which phone is this? Which phone is that? Samsung. Good. That's what I was going to have. Right. I have this small phone here, the Mulikamuzi, the flasher thief or lighter thief, is my charity phone. My charity phone, and that's what the other phone that I had. So this is the phone that I have for the office, which I remember they had bought for me. I see this other cheaper phone. I didn't say cheaper phone, but it was a cheaper phone. This other smartphone is for the office, right here. Do you see it anywhere in those photos you claim you see me? No. So I said I compartmentalized my work and my life. I had my personal phone and my personal work phone. Cheka Mtoi Aishi. I had those. I was on leave. I was on sick leave. I was on leave. I was not working. Right. What does this approval say? I'm on sick leave. What does this email say? I was approved to be on sick leave. Right. But no, don't tell me bats, because I don't give me bats. You have a bat, I have a bat, we all have bats, but don't give me any more bats. I don't need any more bats. You see, this is in the system, and this is from an email from the system. So I don't know what you're telling me about. I have no clue what you're trying to say to me, but you people are lying. Something you did, and you removed. If you removed the approval from the system, you removed it with your own IT or whatever it is, your hacking system, the hacking processes. I do not know what you're talking about. I was not with this phone from the office because I was on leave. Am I supposed to receive calls and receive work when I'm on leave? No. So what are we discussing? He said, no, but you see, it seems like you have a problem with us, and if you don't want to be with us, you can just quit. And I'm like, okay, thank you. What's next? He said, yeah, go talk to your boss. I said, cool. Went back upstairs. Have you talked to him? Yes, I've talked to him. What did you tell him? He said, yeah, he claims I absconded. Yes, you absconded. That's why I'm unhappy with him. I'm like, when did I abscond? I'm saying, Dr. Look at this email. Did this not come from the acting chief of party when I was unwell and you on leave? Well, it looks like no. This is very official, and this is from the system. I said, look at this screenshot of the approval. Is this not from the system? Who approved it? And HR approved it, counter approved. Yeah, but I'm like, so where did I abscond if this was approved by the organization, by you, my bosses? No, but I'm like, no. I don't understand what we're discussing. What is the issue? Are you people trying to fire me? No, but you see, we are feeling. I'm like, okay. Since I'm still on leave, I still have 2.5 more days on leave. What do you want me to do? because I shouldn't even be here. I just came because of this email I saw, and all the way they sounded like, I'd committed an offense, which I haven't, and you have confirmed to you and proven to you I didn't commit an offense. Other than the Facebook post, which I apologize for again, I see no other reason for me being put in this situation. She was like, yeah, but. I said, okay, you know what? Yeah, let me go finish. I have an appointment tomorrow with my doctor. Final appointment, final review, and then we'll see what next. So I walked out, and I just felt, you know what? No. Something is wrong. Something is. If I don't do something, something will be done to me, and it will be even worse. I mean, that basically they plan to fire me. They're just trying to find a reason to fire me. I walked out, went back home. Next day, went to the appointment. I was with this friend of mine who also a friend from church then, and also was like kind of helping me with the planning and moving around and stuff like that. So we were sitting with him at the clinic. I had my laptop with me. I just sat there and thought to myself, you know what? I'm done. I'm just alive. Looking back, it may have been too rash, but at that moment, I felt I needed to just quit. I wasn't going to let anybody interfere with my passion because of their own personal problems, with me or otherwise. Open my laptop, wrote a resignation letter. I quit with immediate effect. It's very obvious that what I'm doing on the side seems to be affecting how I'm being viewed by the organization, by the managers. I don't want this to continue. And from the treatment I've just had, and I listed this, from the treatment I've received yesterday, it's unfortunate that this has come to this point. I have no clue why this is happening the way it's happening, but yes, I resign with immediate effect. Please let me know the way forward. Click send, close my laptop, and I relaxed. There was a weight just lifted off my shoulders. When the doctor saw me, I was good to go. Day 14, rested at home. 15th day after my leave is over, I went back to the office to clear. Now, nobody could talk to me because now they did not know what to do with me. Like, yeah. I went to Embu. I actually drove to Embu because now Embu was my base. I didn't have any reason to be in Nairobi. So I went back to Embu, and I think news had come in. Yeah, David is resigning. David has resigned as of 2 days ago with immediate effect. And so no one knows what to do with me. So suddenly this lady, the chief of party, calls me. She's like, oh, David, why don't we discuss this? Why don't you come? I'm like, you see, I came to your office. You didn't even want to look at me. Leave alone talk to me. You literally didn't want to look at me. So what are we now discussing now? What are we discussing now? That the damage is done. Thank you. No. Why don't you, handing over? I'm like, no. Thank you. That kind of treatment will not allow me to stay for another month, 2 months, handing over to anybody. I cannot be in this environment. It is too toxic for me. And by that time, I'd begun this thing of, understanding not being in places where you're tolerated, being in places where you're celebrated. So I was like, no, it's okay. Thank you. I'm done. Went to the office, handed in my laptop, handed in everything, whatever was work related, gave everything away. And I'm like, yeah, cool. Bye, guys. Drove back to Nairobi. So now here I am, jobless. Cheka Mtoi Aishi is still here, family is still here, my finances are still needed. So at this time I had savings, and I was still running around and moving things and doing things, and now I had full time to do Cheka Mtoi Aishi. I had been told by motivational speakers, told by preachers in church, you need to come to a point where you quit your job. Job means just over broke. Your employer does not want anything positive for you. Your employer doesn't want you to progress in life. Your employer just wants to keep you there, so you're always broke and barely making any money, so you can continue working for the employer. So I'm like, yeah, I'm now my own man. BYOB, be your own boss. I'm now my own boss. Things are going to work out. Things are going to fall in place. I'm a prayer warrior. I am this. I have my talent. I have my gift. My talent shall make you stand before kings. I'd met governors. Senators, members of parliament. I'd worked with organizations, big organizations, met their CEOs. So I'm like, yo, now this is going to be better because I now have a whole 24 hours a day to just focus on this. Yo, it was okay for a few months. Then suddenly savings went. And that's when I realized that I was actually footing a lot of the bills with my own money. I didn't realize that. You can't be blinded by loving something so much, loving something so hard. I was loving. Love is blind. It's even for activities. I was so blinded. I never realized that most of the money I was getting and spending was from my own pocket. I would just supplement with joy, supplement happiness. And then now there's no income. But I still have to do the work. There are places that already were waiting, now calling. They'd seen all these things that Dr. Asambla was doing, and they're now calling and asking, hey, Daktari, please. We've tried seeking for funding, we've tried seeking for donations, we've tried getting donors, nothing is happening. Please come and support us being as heaters. So this is happening. I need to continue doing this, and my passion for it is telling me, you need to continue doing this, bro. You need to push. You cannot stop. At the detriment of my account, at the detriment of myself. Reached a point, account is minus. I'm now going into debts, now borrowing money from people to be able to continue running this, because I needed to run, because I'm thinking soon it will I just need a little more time, a few more days, a few more weeks, and I go blow. Yeah, so I even did. Martin, thank you so much, Martin. Unajijua, I won't mention a second name, but you know yourself. Thank you very much. It's about Martin Oyo. I took what neighbor. Martin Oyo, thank you. Martin Oyo is a very wonderful auditor. He's very wonderful finance kind of guy. He helped me put together a proposal. He did the finance part and the budgets part. I did the narratives and all this other stuff. And we had a big bank, one of the big banks in Kenya, that was supposed to fund through their CSR. And we worked through back and forth, email. And it was just time now for them to sign the contract and release the funds. So these funds were going to help me put together a whole big project, but at the same time also, as an organization, then of course I would benefit from it in terms of admin costs and stuff like that. A week too, a few days too. By this time I'd been 7 months, hadn't paid rent. Where I was, Mr. Gitonga, thank you. Mr. Gitonga told me at some point, listen, Doctor, you just take your time, fix your ish, and then, yeah, you'll pay me. And I never managed. So yeah, I've talked about the Ebola response and how I got into Ebola response. I've talked about how these 9 months were elapsing. I had to sell everything in my house, and my house was empty. By the time Robert Nagila from CCTV Africa was coming to my house to do an interview, you've seen the interview. It's on YouTube and on my channels. My house was empty, and how we spanned that in the interview that I'm relocating, so I've sold my stuff so that my family can relocate to a different place, and I'm going to another country. That's why I've sold my things. No, I had sold my things to pay off my rent. I didn't manage. I had 9 months arrears. I think I paid out 3, because of course when I'm selling things in a hurry, they go cheap. So yeah, back to what? Yeah, back to not having money. So Van broke. Trying to figure out, this bank had already promised to give me the money 2 days. I even told Mr. Gitonga, there's money I'm expecting from this bank for this project, and I'll be able to sort you out in full. No qualms. He was like, cool. Then suddenly, 2-3 days to the day of meeting and signing the contract, they went quiet. Completely. Radio silence, nothing. They hid for me white. White. And they just disappeared completely. Nothing to this day. No idea why, no explanation, no reason. They just went lost, and that was it. So now I come back to my Gitonga. I'm sorry. There is a way. Things have gone way under. So yeah, they never supported. That was it. I didn't have the money then, so it meant I was stuck basically with nothing. So around this time, I'd begun applying for jobs. All over the place. There would be a locum, like a short-term, need for a doctor in a hospital. I'd go there, tell them, this is my CV, this is my experience, I can do this. And they say they needed a doctor that particular evening. I walk in at 4 p.m. They need a doctor from 7 p.m. And they say, Doctor, we will get back to you. Just go, we'll get back. And never got back to me. You know the way sometimes it's just not your path, not your time in that particular place. It doesn't work. As fate would have it, I never got. St. Teresa Hospital. That is in the Ndegwa along Camp Road. Dr. Maura, I told you this when I came for surgery, when you're removing a growth from me. I told you this. St. Teresa's Hospital, when they opened, I went there with my CV. The first day I saw them open, and I put my CV there. I'm like, hey, this is me, and you need me. Like, I didn't say that, but I said I would like to apply for a job. Where can I leave my CV? The lady at the reception took my CV and said, take it to HR and to the bosses. Till now. That was 2011. 2011. I told you, Dr. Bora, 2011. Yeah, my CV is somewhere. Or you threw it away. Whoever threw it away. Anyway, so I applied, nothing. I applied for jobs, nothing was happening. To the point I got now, I was going into depression, asking myself, why am I doing all this that I'm doing for the country, for the children, people I don't know, but I have nothing to show for myself. My own children now can't go to school. My own children, I can't buy them diapers. I can't do anything for my family, yet I'm doing this is for other families. I was like, no, I'm done. I'm tired. Remember, it's in the book. Go read about my depression around that period when I now wanted to take myself out, but I didn't want to commit suicide, but I wanted to die, but not suicidally. So I was hoping that people would kill me. So I looked for, tried walking around in the bushes, coffee plantations. There were still coffee plantations that time in that Dendego area, and people were being attacked almost every night. And I went into the places where I had heard of attacks and people even killed. And as I'm walking 3 in the morning, people are seeing me and they're like, hey, they cross the road and walk away. 3, 4 people would cross the road away from me. And I'm like, I wasn't even like this. Remember, you saw the photos. I looked like slim, short hair, looked very frail. And they would walk away and cross the road and go away from me. So I'm like, I got back home it was 2 in the morning. So 3 in the morning, got back home. I'm like, now why am I still alive? What for? I don't want this anymore. I'm done. I'm tired. Please let me. Then I think at some point a bulb flashed in my brain. I'm like, you know what? I've been lucky. I've been in a house that doesn't belong to me for 9 months without paying rent. I've now paid off only 3. 6 more to go. And I've not been evicted. I should actually be happy, should be thankful that something is still positive out of the negativity. So I told myself, you know what? So I have a small car. I have that tiny mini laptop. I have a small laptop here. I have some bundles, internet bundles. It was Airtel specifically. I'm saying Airtel because Airtel actually donated a lot of heaters. Thank you, Airtel, for what you did for me during that time. The heaters were actually donated by my colleagues in the industry, in the entertainment industry, in the 2 shows that I was working in. They did the donations when I was already in West Africa doing Ebola response. There's nowhere I could have traveled back home, and they were kind. They were amazing. We don't talk now, I remember I told you, but they did a good job. I appreciate that. You'll see them in the papers, you'll see them in articles. When you look for Cheka Mtoi Aishi, you'll actually see the photos and the articles that they were named in, you know. So I thought to myself, you know what? I had heard about Ebola. Ebola had just kicked in. That was not 2014. That was 2014. I think the reason I was losing that time, I was going back, is because I hadn't talked about my time on TV, actively on TV during this same period. These 2 years when I was jobless, I went into TV. So when you're seeing Baba Boy there looking all cool and collected in a suit, those suits are not seen laundry for 2 years. TV can make things look very new and very good. The car that I had, the Honda CRV that I had when I was putting Jambi in the boot, and I was using that to act on the show, I had to sell it at some point to kind of meet expenses. Did not work either. The crew did not know I was going through all this. They had no clue. They heard about it later. After I now went for Ebola response, that's when I was like, hey guys. And now when I put out The Power of Passion had this story in it. So when they saw in The Power of Passion and they heard about that, hey, you mean you're suffering all this time and you didn't know? I'm like, yeah, I don't need to tell you that. That wasn't your problem. That was my problem. It wasn't your issue. Anyway, so I went onto the internet, just went on Google and wrote there Ebola response jobs. And everything that came, everything. That time I didn't even know about reliefweb.int. I didn't know about that website. I just went to the internet and Ebola response jobs. And anything that was mildly medical, mildly clinical, anything. For West Africa, I would apply. Even if it was finance in medical project, I would just apply anything. So that's why I say I applied for around 150 times. And the 50 applications, and the reason I went for that Ebola thing was because I'd seen somebody. I just applied. Then in the morning, I was browsing Facebook, just doom scrolling. I was jobless, so nowhere to go to, and there were no shows that week. We didn't have any shows on the Real Houses of Kawangware or Hapakule News. There was nothing, so it was a free week. So that morning, I was scrolling on Facebook, and then I came across the KMPDU page, Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentist Union, KMPDU. Now I think it's KMPDB now. So I went to the page, and one of the doctors had posted and said, hey, if this Ebola thing comes to Kenya, I am out of here. He actually said, I'm going to the US. If the Ebola checks in, he checks out. Another guy's like, yeah, in fact, there's no way. And even if we were trained on infection prevention and control, we were trained on wash, water, and sanitation and hygiene, we were trained on this and that and that and that. I am not even going to dare. We've seen people dying, and medical doctors were dying, nurses were dying, clinicians, medics were dying of all kinds of color in West Africa and even internationally. Remember the time MSF, there was a time MSF, one of the organizations lost their staff because they went in those suits and people didn't understand who they were, and there were rumors that they were aliens and they were stoned to death or hacked to death or whatever. So So we lost many people. Some just contracted the scourge and died during that time. So it was scary, because when I went for it in 2014, Ebola was scary. So I just applied, and so I'm looking at this, I'm looking at the Facebook post, everybody, no, I don't want to go, I can't go, I can't go, I can't go, never. And somewhere in the middle there, someone posts randomly, if you would like to go for Ebola response job, send your CV to this email address. So I sidebar, I chatted him on DM, I'm like, hey, yeah, doc, how are you? So I've seen you've posted this, have you applied yourself? What's the process? Like, hey, nigga, I'm not applying, never, but because someone sent it to me, I sent it to everybody. If you want to risk your life, you go. I'm like, okay, I need to, because I have searched for jobs, nothing, I have no money, I have nothing, my life is crumbling, is crashing, and I'm done, so I need to do anything. By that time, my mindset was, even if I go, make some money for a month, and Ebola gets me. Remember, Ebola had an 80% death rate, 80% mortality, meaning 8 out of 10 people were guaranteed to die. I was like, even if I go and get Ebola and pass away, at least the compensation would do something for my family. That's where I was. I was done. So I said, okay, so that attempt of mine to be stoned or killed or attacked by thugs and killed didn't work. So let's go and try Ebola. I was still in that state. So when people ask me what got me into humanitarian work, it was a dark state that got me there. It was pain that got me there. But eventually I had pain. I wanted to relieve somebody else's pain at the same time, but I was in pain and I needed to take the pain away. I'm happy it did. It worked, because now I don't walk in that pain anymore. And it opened for me doors that today I'm able to talk to you and tell you about this stuff. I'm able to have a book that I can share experiences of other humanitarians apart from mine, and push for mental health support for everybody who is in any kind of response work. I'm glad now. So I went. It was a point of pain. Even Tanya last evening on around these rants, raves, and reviews. That's what I said. It was a pain that took me to West Africa. My personal pain, which I masked. Nobody saw it. Even my colleagues had no idea that's what I was going to. And that's why I went. I was ready to just go and lose my life, but at least have something for the family to have. I've never said this openly. It's not even in the book, but that's the reason why I went. Anyway, so applied for Ebola jobs, went for Ebola. Cheka Mtoi Aishi was still running, but I was now doing it kind of remotely with my friends who were still left here. Kina Masai, the guys from Houses of Kawangware, the guys from Hapakule News, and the other show that they had been on before they came to the show. Before they came to do these two shows that were running when I joined them. So yeah, that's how I went to West Africa. That's how Cheka Mtoi Aishi evolved, and eventually, yeah, by the time I was finishing, by the time I was now deep into international humanitarian work, because I hadn't planned to stay on, but eventually I just got hooked. I couldn't continue running it remotely, because now I needed to be there, do the proposals, do the running up and down, buying the heaters and stuff like that. Funny thing, let's do a flashback to that organization that effed me up with the job. It turned out later, two things came up later. One of my colleagues who were quite close with that time told me, I won't mention his name also so that he doesn't get victimized, maybe he's still there, told me, listen, there was a meeting among our peers, my peers at that time in management, and one of the senior bosses in I think in a restaurant somewhere, and he was nearby. I think he had his headphones, so they thought he wasn't listening, but they were off, so he overheard. Thank you for eavesdropping. And he told me, yeah, so apparently there was a discussion and there was a promotion that was lined up and was supposed to be bumped up in the food chain. And they were like, yeah, Wasambula would do very well. The way he's been working, he's perfect for that promotion. However, this fame thing that he has, that is looking bad on the organization, is what we will not allow to happen. So we can't promote him, and if anything, actually, he needs to go. That was a discussion by peers, people I thought were my friends, people I thought were my colleagues and friends that we worked with, we visited each other with, were planning against me. There were the weapons formed against me. The second thing that happened, so yeah, so by the time now this whole thing was coming up, coincidentally about 6-7 months later, when I got appendicitis and was being accused falsely of absconding duty and all that kind of thing, there was a plan that had been put in place, in motion, that was supposed to get me out. They just had no reason. So the reason they were trying to find was to dismiss me for abscondment of duty, which again did not work. So eventually I fired them. The next thing that I was told now, months, I think a year or two later, by somebody else, completely random stuff, yes, but a random discussion altogether. We were meeting, and he was like, yo, you know what you have done is that you caused embarrassment to the organization. So apparently, years before that, USAID had given funding to these guys to do the exact same project. Years before I even joined them, years before I joined even NGO, they had been given funding to buy space heaters to put in health facilities across the country. And they reported back and said, we don't have space heaters and there's not much need. So the funding was taken back to the donor. And the donor was quite unhappy because they had done some research and it was very clear there was a problem with neonatal mortality, and especially with neonatal hypothermia. They were quite pissed off, hypothermia. So now suddenly they were being asked, guys, you told us that when we gave you money that you couldn't find heaters and there was no need for them, and now this individual working for you is doing comedy and raising money from events and out of his pocket, and he's buying heaters 1 2 1 2, because the tagline of Cheka Mtoi Aishi was saving babies in Africa 1 heat at a time. My plan was Africa 1 heat at a time, because my first one I bought with my own money from my own per diem, and did a donation to Tigoni Hospital. Just bought 1 heater from my money and took to Tigoni. That's how I kicked it off, and it just kind of blew up until it blew down. So yeah, so they are being questioned. Can you explain this? Because this is one of your doctors, yes, but he's not even doing it with your money. He's doing it with his own money as a comedian. Remember, I told you my father whooped the F out of me when I said I wanted to be an entertainer as a child, to stop being stupid. Now here I was, a doctor and a comedian, doing still what I wanted to do, plus what I had been told to do, which now I love doing, and doing all this, and me out in the media, to the point that these people went and released a newspaper article, had a whole page on 7 newspapers just saying, we organization are very committed to saving the children in this nation and the mothers in this nation, and we've been committed to this, and neonatal hypothermia, neonatal this, blah blah blah. There's just a whole page, and in the middle they had this whole statement of what they wanted to do, which they're not doing. So what had happened was they went to this old man, not very old, but this gentleman at Trial Arc, where I used to buy heaters. Because I told them when I was still working, they were like, yeah, where you buying the heaters? I was very transparent about it. I think I even mentioned in my first book, In the Power of Passion, where I was buying the heaters. So they knew. They went to him. And I told him I had to quit because of that. We were very close with him. I told you, he's only introduced me to to Honorable Esuda. She in turn introduced me to Honorable Sonko. So he loved me like a son. He loved me like either his son or his brother. He was so close. I need to find him. I tried finding him. I don't know what happened to him. We lost touch at some point. But I need to look for him. So yeah, they went to him. And they're like, yeah, so we are from this organization. He's like, he clicked that organization that fired David, or wanted to fire David, and David fired them, and there was firing happening in between them. He's like, what do you want? They're like, yeah, so we have this project for heaters, and we have funding, and we have major funding. We'd like to buy, I don't know what now, X number of thousands of heaters from you so we can donate. He's like, I don't have heaters. That's what I was told. They were told. The story went around in the organization. I don't have heaters. Like, but he said, no, those are not for you. Those are for David. Those are for Dr. Wasambla. That time already I was buying less and less because now I didn't have any money, but he said those are for doctor, and he refused to sell to them. And he was the only supplier at that time who had a bulk heater. So either they had to go to Nakuma. Nakuma was still open. Nakuma, which was selling them way more expensive, no fault of their own. That's what they did. He was giving me at wholesale price. They wanted to get a wholesale price. They were willing to pay market price retail to buy many, so they could make their name, repair the brand or whatever damage they thought had done to them. He refused, and he called me and said, Daktari, they came to me, and I refused. So I didn't know, when he told me they came to him and they refused, I didn't know what had been happening. That's when later I was told, yeah, they had been funding many years before, and they didn't do it, so they requested for like quick funding to kind of build the name so that they trash out everything I'd done. They were denied. They never did it, because the old man said, heck no. So they had to go back and say, yeah, China, we couldn't, China and US and blah, blah, blah. So they found an excuse not to continue doing it. So that's how Cheka Mtoi Aishi came about. How Cheka Mtoi Aishi was closed eventually. It's now no longer functional. Somebody asked me to probably think about reviving it. I'm not sure I want to revive it, but we'll see what happens. I'm focusing right now on Humanitarian Chronicles, focusing right now on Broken Souls, focusing at the moment on the next book. So once I start my next mission, probably I'll start my next book. I've started it, but I'll push it on. We'll see how that goes. Thank you very, very much for being with me. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for always being wonderful. Thank you for engaging. For those been engaging, if you haven't been engaging, please engage, like, share, subscribe, and yeah, let's chat in the comments. Let us engage on email. My link tree is in the description of the page. Go there, check out all my social medias. I put the shorter versions of this on the other social media platforms, and then I put this, of course, on the channel. So please engage. Let us push out this information. Let us push out the gospel of humanitarian work, the gospel of the trauma we go through, and the gospel of what help we need, which is proactive mental support, not just for us, but in general. There should be someone somewhere sitting and saying, listen, this is my job to support responders. Anybody who's struggling with all these things from a response, anybody who's coming back with PTSD from missions, somebody should be available. It might be me when I eventually go and do my master's in mental health in emergency settings, or it might be other people, or it might be both. It doesn't matter. We just need that support. Thank you very, very much. And yeah, let's continue buying the book. The book is available at the book Community. It's available at Kibanga Books, available at Nuria Books, available at Amazon.com and Kobo.com. Enjoy as you read, enjoy as you watch. Please let me know what more you want us to see, and hopefully soon I will be doing interviews for other humanitarians, especially ladies, for us to see how much more people are going through, how much more people are doing out there, and how much impact we are putting into the world, so that we get the support we need to continue doing it, mental health support to continue doing what we're doing. Oh yeah, and Wednesday this week I'll be at hopefully at Two Grapes Wines and Friends in Kilimani from 7 p.m. at the stand-up open mic stand-up comedy show. Again, I should be performing there. So yeah, pop in. Let's have a laugh and enjoy yourselves. Free of charge. Wednesdays open mic. All you do is you buy your drinks, buy your meals, and laugh at us for free, or laugh with us for free, or laugh around us for free, whichever way. The laughter is free. Now, you don't pay for the laughter, you only pay for whatever you consume, whatever comes out of you in terms of laughter, haha, hee, that is free of charge. And of course, Wasp and Sprout have a Women's Day special event. All comedians will be ladies. The main comedians will be ladies. Shiro, Drusilla, two others. My memory is refusing to allow me to say, to kind of let you know who they are. But yeah, watch out for that on Punchline Comedy Nairobi. Punchline Comedy Nairobi on their social media. You'll be able to see that. Wasp and Sprout, 7th of is it 7th of this month? I think it's on 7th, yeah, on Saturday, this Saturday. Yeah, there's that event at Wasp and Sprout in Loresha. So pop in there, yeah, check how much. I think it's 1,500 per person. Please buy yourself a ticket. Come in and watch and have fun. I mean, laughter is the best brufen. Sidio? That's what it says in the Holy Book, and that's what I'm telling you now. Laughter is the best brufen. Come and just have fun. Let's have fun. Wednesday, free of charge. Wasp and Sprout once, I think it's every month. Or other locations, check out Punchline Comedy. Let's see how we make each other feel better with these struggles in life, and this life that we're living together. We are sharing this together. Once more and finally, thank you very, very much for your time. This has been Dr. David Osambla, the Dreadlock Doctor, Humanitarian Chronicles. Adios. Bye-bye.